The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to pass from this world to the Father. He loved his own in the world, and he loved them to the end. The devil had already induced Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot, to hand him over. So during supper, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God, Jesus rose from supper and took off his outer garments. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to dry them with the towel around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Master, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered him and said, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will understand later." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me." So Simon Peter said, "Master, then not only my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus said to him, "Whoever has bathed has no need except to have his feet washed, for he is clean all over. So you are clean, but not all." For he knew who would betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all are clean." So when he had washed their feet, he put his garments back on and reclined at table again. He said to them, "Do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you also should do." The Gospel of the Lord. I've been a priest for almost 20 years, and nearly all of that time has been spent in parishes. And so I have prayed through the Triduum with various communities throughout most of my priestly life. And in terms of Holy Thursday, one of the things I have learned is that washing feet is never done gracefully. We celebrate the ritual of the washing of the feet just once a year. And no matter how often we've practiced or choreographed it, no matter where I've been, it's always a fairly awkward situation and an awkward action. The priest takes off his vestments in front of everyone. Then the folks come up before the congregation. Bowl is put out, towels, water, and we begin to wash feet. And it's clumsy. You're down on all fours. You don't know how to do this because really, how often do we wash someone else's feet? It's awkward. It's clumsy. It lacks all grace because we don't really know how to do it, so we're not very good at it. Perhaps that's the point. Perhaps the fact of this ritual action that we experience every Holy Thursday is to feel the awkwardness, the clumsiness, the sense of not knowing what we do, but knowing that Jesus has called us to do it. John describes Jesus as having loved his own in the world. He loved them to the end. And this ritual symbolic action that he does of washing the feet is that reminder of his great love, that he loves them always and will to the end. And when he has completed the task and has washed the feet, he asks them a simple question: do you realize what I have done for you? And just as I have given you a model to do, so as I have done, so too you must do. Jesus' love for us is perfect. Our own love and response is far from perfect. Our own love is much like that ritual action of washing feet. Our own love is awkward. We fumble around. We're hesitant. We're not very good at it. Our own attempts at trying to love one another are often quite feeble. But it's okay, because I firmly believe that something worth doing is worth doing poorly. That if we were to wait until our love is perfect, we would never love. If we were to wait until our expression of love and service for one another did not feel awkward or feeble, we would never love. We would never serve one another. We would not follow the great command of Christ. Only God expresses perfect love. And only God in Jesus Christ shows us what it is to love absolutely, without limit, and totally. But we're not seeking perfection. We are called to love as we can. In the midst of our limitations, in the midst of our own feebleness, in the midst of our own fears, we are called to love. And so this evening, perhaps as you experience your own sense of awkwardness of washing feet at home, your own sense of not knowing what to do next or how this works, is perhaps the grace that God is offering to us. We are not called to perfection. We are called to be disciples.